Good evening, everyone. How are y'all doing tonight? It is Dadman Walking 55 out here at 8:02 on the East Coast. Well, ready for some sports talk tonight, at least for one more week, folks. Because if you know what's coming up, we're going to actually be shifting a little bit of gears on Mondays and Tuesdays going forward. I need to make sure I have that meme near the end. I forgot to get it queued up, but we are going to be doing on Mondays and Tuesdays going forward after next week, July 4th weekend, um, to do something more detailed recaps of our trip with the misses, a bunch of detour shows. So, but hey, more on that later. I hope y'all are doing well tonight and having a good evening yourselves. And hey, folks, listen, Sports Weekly. If you saw how I pitched it, there is a big event that's going on tonight, and it's the men's. It became the finale, the championship game of a championship series between the LSU Tigers and the Florida Gators in the men's college baseball championship, College World Series. Both teams have won one game. Florida jumped out to 2-0 lead right at the top, and now LSU, after a bad outing in the second inning from the Gators starter and reliever, LSU finds itself up 6-2. Now the question is, will the Gators come back with one out in the second already after scoring 24 runs yesterday? So I got a response to that comment. So hey, but let's go. Let's take a look. I've got a great Whoopa Troopa that will be coming in a little bit to help me out to talk some other sports. But in the meantime, let us see who we've got here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit I went live tweet. But anyway, let's do this. Let's see. Let me greet the great Snortapoopas Q Burr, who says, "Hello, humans and other critters. Good to see you tonight." And, it's always great coming in and seeing that, especially with the first chat of the night. It's always great. And the great Buddy Hepburn, hey, Buddy, who says hi to Snortapoopas. And then after that, Buddy said Florida should pull the picture. Yeah, I think at that point, the situation, you had to see one more batter. Well, then he walked, and then the reliever sure as heck didn't get anybody out quick enough. So we are in love for the 6-2 win tonight. So let's see where we are. And hey, Snortapoopas Kuber asked, will they manage to score any touchdowns or get free kicks? Wait, reading the wrong sports book. Hey, last night when it was 24-3, Florida was leading LSU. I was thinking football. You had your touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, 3 conversions with a field goal for LSU last night. And hey, Maddie's daddy, welcome. Hey, Dadman Snorty, 5 o'clock in Vegas. About to leave work, pick up my little princess. But here's a like. Thank you, sir, and we will have a good stream. And Stunning comes in with booty. I'm surprised you didn't say booby with that avatar, but hey, it's all good. So welcome, Stunning. We got three of y'all here in the chat tonight. Welcome, everybody. And it's going to be an interesting night tonight. It's going to be probably very heavy on for the time that we have here, really focused on how the College World Series has transpired. Whoopa has some stuff about hockey that we're going to talk about in just a little bit with us. So let me see what here. I'm going to work on multitasking, which, like I've always said, is a dangerous thing now. And let me see. Let's see. No, I don't want to do that one because it's all changed. So, hey, let me do this one, and I will say live now. So, hey, folks, thank you. Pull up some popcorn, sit back, and relax, and let's have a good time. All right, so, and there, it's live. We're out, and Twitterdom has been told. All right, folks. All right, well, there we go. So, my friends, good evening. And Stunning saying, sup, boys, and Stunning is actually working on entry for Ripa's fan art contest. Well, good for you. Good for you. Good luck on that. Hope you do well with that. So, like I said, tonight is the pivotal game. It's become actually a national title game since both teams have won one game each. LSU won the first game in the series, a 4-2 win with 2 late home runs. And then yesterday we had a really interesting thing with just like the floodgates open for the Gators. So kind of what happened in one inning now for LSU. So let's see what happens and how this game transpires as we talk tonight a little bit. What we have with this game, since last week we met, there were 8 teams in the tournament. LSU advanced after last week by beating the Tennessee Volunteers in a 5-0 shutout. And also on Tuesday, and then the second elimination game last Tuesday was that TCU, the Texas Christian Horned Frogs, beat the upstart and surprising Oral Roberts University, who was like the darling of the tournament and had a lot of hopes for to be the Cinderella, but they fell flat to TCU. Then on Wednesday of the week, you had the last of the elimination games. In that, what you had is you had the top 2 seeds that were undefeated. Wake Forest and Florida had no losses. Well, LSU went up against Wake Forest and had to win in a must-win situation. LSU beat Wake Forest 5-2 in that game, which forced a deciding rematch for a second elimination. Then Florida beat TCU in a close game, a nail-biter 3-2, winning that game late. So, which that win put Florida in the championship series that started on Saturday. So then that brought up LSU against Wake Forest for the final elimination game on that side of the bracket. Well, and on Thursday night, LSU won a 2-0 game there to advance to the championship series against the Gators. In that game, what was unique about it, and we'll show you right here, was really an interesting game. We talked about extra inning games and stuff like that before, but what's really crazy with this one, folks, is if you look at this box score, it was a 2-0 win, but if you look at that, I love extra inning baseball, but scoreless extra inning baseball would have to be hard to watch. It was a 2-0 LSU win in 11. Both runs scored bottom of the 11th. In 11 innings, Wake Forest had 3 hits. LSU had only had 5 hits. That is, talk about your money's worth extra inning game. That might be one that be hard to stay awake in a game like that. Like I've said before, I love extra inning ball games, but that could have been a snooze fest. I don't know about you, but I like a little bit of scoring in my extra inning games. So then that leads us to where we've gotten to tonight, which is leading into the championship series. Stunning says, I've heard a lot of heavy hitter artists are entering in it too, so the chance of winning slim. But you know what? Yeah, get noticed. That's the whole thing. Anything you do, just go and get noticed. That's the main thing. It just, you never know till you try it. And everything you do, that's like with the streaming stuff. I mean, it was always like, do this, do that, do it. But so I kicked the tires on it. So I started, and now we can't stop. But hey, all right. So we're at the top of the third. LSU's got 2 outs, 1 man on. So this is the type of game that I find very interesting. And I'm going to talk about this game before I talk about the first 2 games in the series a little bit. This is one of those streak games. Florida jumped out 2-run home run right off the bat. Continued the offense from yesterday. Now LSU gets hot. They get a lot of walks with a pitcher that was out of control and get 6 runs in the second. Now, a lot of times old school baseball is just chip away. You got 8. In this case, the Gators will have 7 more innings to get 4 runs or 5 runs. So there's no need to panic. But so many games that I've ever seen where one team gets like 6 runs in an inning, a lot of times they typically go cold the rest of the game. Many times. So, Florida's got a chance to come back in this thing. But then again, I say that, but I also have to look at yesterday's game, which we will take a look at a little bit closer coming up. So now LSU's got 2 men on, 2 out. So hey, it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. Florida has a well-rested bullpen. They didn't have to play that extra game like LSU had to play against Wake Forest. So hey, you can throw stat books, everything out the door, and all this with this game. It is the final game. Big question for LSU is will they end up throwing, you know, one of their best pitchers in the Skeens uh, in this game. Question is he was not ready to start tonight, but will he be available in relief? Uh, uh, you know, old school baseball has it where yeah, you throw everybody all hands on deck till their arms throw off. But it's a modern age of baseball. You never know. I personally think, especially if LSU keeps the lead, you will see him in near the end if they need it to keep the win. But you never know what happens. So that you never know. Managers, teams, athletic trainers, rules. You know all that. But hey, let's see. All righty. So what an interesting series that we've had. This College World Series is really a fun time of year. If you like baseball, I prefer it over Major League Baseball and Major League playoffs, uh, personally. But then again, I'm always predestined or pre. I guess predestined. Nah, I guess I'm biased towards the college sports, like I've said before. So with that, let's see. We'll go back. I'm going to back up a screen here now, and we will see what's going on here. So that leads us to tonight. Actually, led us into Saturday's game, where we ended up having LSU and Florida playing. And let's see, we'll look at the box score for that here with this game here. Actually, I mistook. See, what we did have here was a 4-3 extra inning game, another extra inning game. Lots of solo runs. Florida had the 3-2 lead until the eighth. And I believe it gave up another home run there to tie the game. Yep, eighth inning. White had a home run for LSU. So LSU tied it up in the eighth, took the lead in the 11th, and Florida lost that game 4-3 in what was more of a normal back and forth sluggish type of traditional baseball game. More of a normal thing that you see. The Gators stranded enough men on base that ended up killing them at the end. Let's see if they have it right here. Let's see if we got the. Let's see, because we talked about stats the other night, so just trying to see if they have left on base in here, because they used to have left on base in the stat sheet, but I do not see them having listed it there. But I do remember in this game the Gators had left quite a few men on base when they, in opportune times where they could have either extended the lead or tied the game up when they were trailing. So there's you see what happened. LSU in that game had 2 home runs. The Gators had 1 home run. So, like I said, this truly was more of your normal type of baseball game. Not outrageous scoring, no big crazy innings and things like that. So this was a decent game to watch, with this. But one of the items of note is when you look at the stats of the match, LSU pitchers struck out 20 Gators in 11 innings. I mean, the Gators struck out 16 Tigers. So that's still a lot. I mean, that's just, even though they had extra innings, that's still, those are a staggering total of strikeouts that you have right here in this game. So just taking a look now of what's going on, and they fouled it off. Okay. So still 6-2, 2 men on, 2 out with a 1-2 count. So, okay. Well, Florida in that game, the pitchers combined, 3 pitchers combined for 11 innings, giving up 4 earned runs and the 16 strikeouts. So, let's see. Nothing really, like I said, nothing really jumps out with these stats other than the number of strikeouts. It's quite interesting. And then the scoring recap, LSU. And hello to my friend Whoopa Troopa. Hey, Whoopa. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Oh, doing good, doing good.
Well, you're doing better than the Gators are doing at the moment. But hey, that's
Oh,
how the tides turn really quickly. So, how are
mm.
you doing this evening, though? You all fed up and ready to? Well, had dinner is what I meant, but not fed up. Uh,
Yeah, I'm ready. I had a nice pork steak.
ooh,
Was delicious.
well, that sounds really, really good. So, well, let's see now. They got a full count with 2 outs. So I was just doing a recap of the College World Series so far, looking back at the matchups, how the two teams got there. Um, and Snorta Poopas, how whoopa.
Hey,
Yes, all right. So have you been following this College World Series much?
I haven't a lot, but I saw the score of last night. That was pretty
Well, we will
crazy.
get there. We will get there in a second. But did you? What I was recapping for everybody, how LSU had to beat Wake Forest twice to get to the championship series.
Oh,
So
because I guess they lost the first time and had to claw their way back.
right, they were in the losers bracket, and they had to beat Wake Forest twice, which was you would expect because Wake Forest was the #1 overall national seed, and Florida's actually the #2 overall national seed in this series coming in. So, so we were just recapping a little bit of the first game. It was more of a normal baseball game, a 4-3 score,
Mm-hmm.
if you can call that normal. LSU jumped up two
That's
to
pretty
nothing.
normal.
Yeah,
4-3. I guess
yeah.
going 11 innings isn't, but
But
four to three
well,
is
wait
pretty
till
normal.
you. I don't think you saw what how LSU eliminated Wake Forest. I had just showed it, but LSU Wake Forest were 0-0 all the way through 10.
Nice.
And in the 11th inning, LSU hit a 2-run home run to win it. LSU finished the game 11 just short of 11 innings with 5 hits. Wake Forest had 3 hits.
Oh, was that the game? I forget who it was. There was some pitcher in the College World Series who pitched like threw 136 pitches or something like that in one outing, which
That
for
well, let's go back
any
and look. Let's go back and look at that one then. That could be. But yes, but see, this was kind of a traditional 4-3, 11 inning, extra inning type of win. Basically, here, Florida got ahead. It just was normal, and then two solo home runs could be what cost the Gators the national championship this year. But we will see what happens with this game. So let me back up there real quick. Let's
oh
go back. Let me go check that game because that could
this
be
is
because that.
this was a little while ago actually.
Okay, because that was
Hold on.
yeah, it wasn't that one. Now, I tell you what, this is a question that they talked about here the other night. This Skeens here for LSU, he threw
Mhm.
120 pitches. So
Nice.
that's a lot of pitches, especially, for even
I
major league or college.
Yeah, I think people. There's a lot more caution nowadays, and somewhat I get it, but somewhat I think, hey, let them through. I don't know. Maybe it's not. It's not. It's not my body at the end of the day, so maybe it's easy for me to say. But
Yeah, I'm still all the old school, though. It's like, look, let them throw. I mean,
well, there was a guy recently for St. Louis and ended up working for us for now, but
mhm.
we'll see if it hurts us in the next few games. He got pulled at 56 pitches because someone had a lot of error. Like he didn't get through a lot of a lot of innings because there was a lot of errors. Like he had 4 runs, but they were all unearned because they were all errors. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, they pulled him at 56, and it's like, okay, well, let the guy pitch more. That's not even high by modern standards, but definitely not high by old standards. And um, what was it? He Gosh, I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh oh, it's like, yeah, then you get to your bullpen, and bullpen's different because it's always, you know, they want to
Mm-hmm.
You want the bullpen at 100% so they can throw. We got a couple guys who throw over 100 miles per hour. Most starters, if they do that, they're going to blow their arm out.
Yeah.
So then you're going to tax your bullpen. It's going to hurt in the long run. But yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, I guess the concern is, they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
You don't want to blow your arm out before you can get your big contract.
Right. I agreed. And this is the article that I think you were talking about.
Yes.
Stanford pitcher throws 156 pitches, raising concerns before College World Series.
Yeah.
Wow.
A complete game.
So, and this happened. Wow. And this was in the Super Regional. This was not even the final series. This was no stranger to triple pitch counts as a team's Friday starter. Senior Quinn Matthews had thrown at least 100 pitches in 15 of his 16 starts this season before taking mound with the Cardinal, facing postseason elimination against Texas in last week's College Series Super Regional. So he finished with 156 pitches in a complete game win against the Longhorns, which has ignited that long debate. No MLB pitcher has thrown that many pitches in a game since former Red Sox pitcher Tim Wakefield, a knuckleballer, who the talk is that because of the style of throwing when a knuckleball is not as hard on the arm, had 169 pitches against the Milwaukee Brewers on June 5, 1997.
That is true because that's kind of a thing that there's not really any knuckleballers anymore, but it used to be a thing of older players trying to revive their careers.
Phil Necro.
Because you didn't need the velocity.
Mm-hmm. Well, the current season high for pitches in the MLB is 119 by Rich Hill of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who is just one of four to crack 115 pitches among the league's cautious approach to starting pitchers and broader shift towards specialty relievers. But the Stanford coach David Esquer said, before people pass judgment, they don't know what we know.
So, hey, this is a elimination game, and they won that game, and then they went on to win the next day and got to the final, the true World Series, so to speak.
And what the coach further went is that while he exceeded the normal pitch count, we took into account that he wasn't cranking off a majority of sliders and fastballs. He was probably throwing a majority of changeups. We thought that lowered the stress on the pitch count. So
yeah, and they were talking about Rich Hill. Rich Hill, I think, is 43.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow.
So, but everyone always roots for him. You always want the older pitchers to, especially guys. He bucks the trend. There's so many people, they don't want to pitch at above 80. He's over here throwing it. He's got like a ridiculously slow fastball.
Well, he wasn't the only pitcher in the tournament. Southern Mississippi pitcher Tanner Hall threw 123 pitches in the first game of the regional against Samford, 4-2 loss, then threw 30 pitches in a must-win game against Penn 3 days later. Johns Hopkins pitcher Gabriel Romano threw 164 pitches in the second game of the Division III National Championship round against Lynchburg. So
I think that doesn't matter as much.
So
because 164 is a ton, but I guess maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I'm assuming not a lot of Division III baseball players are having hopes for the future career, So at that point, it's like, this is your, championship game. This is pretty much the biggest game you're ever going to play in your life.
Absolutely.
That's one thing. If you're like a Division I guy on a top team, you're probably going to get drafted. This guy, it's just a pride thing. Worst case scenario is when money's on the line, there's a lot of potential. If it's just you're pitching for, all that's going to matter is maybe when you get older, your arm's going to hurt a lot.
Well, one of the things out there is like the pitcher says he's blessed and that people care about his health or whatever. But, it cites a 2018 study published in the Orthopedic Journal of Sports Medicine, saying the majority of shoulder and elbow injuries among younger pitchers are a result of overuse, with risk factors including a, quote, lack of adherence to recommended pitch counts, year-round pitching, rotator cuff weakness, kinetic chain defects, scapular dyskinesis, altered shoulder rotation, and pitching with arm pain and fatigue, end quote. But, one thing that I do see is that year-round pitching. But also, these kids start playing ball at like 3 and 4. I mean, look how long or young we start them with t-ball and stuff, and it's like, and all the sports, even at that age, it's become year-round sports in the kids' levels. They don't get the time for their body to rest and recover, like because you can't take the time off now because of a competitive disadvantage. When I was growing up, you really only played in the fall or the spring. That's all it was, and they didn't have travel teams and all this other stuff 365 days in a year. It's like Claudia and I've talked about the NFL. They used to have, that's why you had training camps, was because everybody just did whatever, and then they came in to get in shape for playing the game. But now modern sports, it's really, no matter what level you're at, it's a round the year business now. And if you don't do it, you fall behind others.
Yeah, it's become a little bit of a grind, and I think a lot of it is, and some of it is, I think coaches should have a certain amount of, you should look out for your players, but a lot of it is, very few. I always think about, this is one of my favorite players ever that I got to watch, Adam Wainwright. He's that older pitcher. He was he led the league in complete games as a 40-year-old, which is pretty crazy.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But the whole thing, I remember watching this, and I still think there was a poor decision by the manager to do this, but the manager wanted to pull Adam Wainwright from a game. He was doing really good, but he was in a jam. It was pretty much, hey, this is probably his last inning anyway. Yeah. 6th and 7th. And the manager came out to get him, and, Wainwright was just shaking his head. He's shaking his head. The manager's talking to him, and he's just holding his arm out like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Give me the ball. I'm going to pitch, Yeah. Which I first of all, I love that mentality. And say, hey, don't take me from the game. I got this. Even if it doesn't work, that's what you want your athletes to have. But second of all, that's just the point of, most of these pitchers don't want to come out of the game. It's just like you have all those players who played hurt. It's not like they were coerced. It's not like the coach said, oh, you're a wuss. It was that they wanted to get back out there and play the game. There was who's the Red Wings guy? Was it Chris Draper? Whoever got hit and got his face messed up so bad, and started the whole rivalry between them and the Avalanche.
Oh wow, no, I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it was really bad. It was, and this was back. I like a lot of the hitting back in the day, but there's definitely some things where it's like, oh, that is probably pretty dangerous. A guy didn't just hit him into the boards, hit him into the bench where his cheekbone hit against the top, and they, I guess it was before they really enforced the whole boarding thing. Like, you can't push, unless someone's against the boards, you can't just push him into the boards. So he pushed him and seriously messed up his cheekbone. You can kind of tell it affected his facial structure. But he was, wow. He broke his cheekbone, and he missed the rest of the year. But as the doctors are stitching him up, or I guess maybe they didn't stitch him up. No, they probably did, because it was pretty bad. But he was like, okay, how is it, doc? Can I get back out there? And the doctor's like, dude, go look in a mirror. You definitely cannot get back out there. At the time, he's like, yeah, just put me back.
Oh,
that's happens with so many things.
It does. It's a pride versus, yeah.
Yeah, and I think
get out there type thing.
part of it is adrenaline, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but a lot
But
of it
again,
is, yeah. Hey,
I
you're
guess the thing changes at the college level because you're not getting paid for it, and there's the concerns for it. But you know what? This is a championship. There is a certain thing to do it, and yeah, you do. They do have the valid questions about overuse and all that stuff. But the one thing is, I mean, why don't we look back at least even at the pro levels? Maybe they should be forcing these pitchers to take their bodies down for a few months. Instead of throwing throughout the off season and this, that, and the other. Give your body time to rest because look, I mean, what did Nolan Ryan do? And I'm not saying don't throw it all in the off season, but you do what you do to keep your mechanics, but try to save your arm because all those that's why they bring scrub guys into the NFL training camps and practice camps is they're just training camp arms. They save the arms off the throws off the frontline guys.
Mhm.
But
And there's so many, I think of Steven Strasburg,
mhm.
they've ever since he had that one injury when he was like, what, 23, 24, they've had him on a pitch count. They've really
Yeah,
monitored it,
yeah, they
how
pay him
much.
out, but they pay him so much damn money that it's like, uh, you know, and then everybody else bases their salaries off of him, and we've got another reason with exploding salaries. Sorry, that's a different issue. But what I mean is, you sit here, you're gonna pay him what the high contract he gets, then why not, you know, somebody that's gonna throw more to him and has comparable numbers is definitely gonna want more money.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he got that injury, and they were like, all right, let's be careful with him, and we'll keep him on a pitch count and all that. And he
Yep,
kept getting hurt and kept getting hurt, and then he finally stayed healthy, and they won a World Series, and then he's barely played since because he's been hurt so much.
yep.
And it's like, well, you kept him on a low pitch count and all that, and it didn't really help you.
No, no.
Uh,
Can he give the money back for his contract?
hey, I think he's happy to accept the money.
Of course not. They never give the money back.
Yep.
Um, it's like, yep. So they've gone to the top of the fourth. There's one out. Looks like they're taking a trip to the mound to check the pitcher out for something. So,
me and my friend, not my friend, my cousin, we were at one of the ball games, and they kept sending mound visits, and we always liked to add our own commentary.
oh yeah,
It'd be, they'd send a mound visit right after he gives up a home run. We like to
exactly,
imagine like the pitching coach just saying like, "Hey, listen, uh,
absolutely. Well, let me
hey,
say hello
listen,
to a
that's a
few
home."
people. Hey, we got a few others that have come through. Miss Mark Muses, welcome. Good to see you tonight. And stunning pitches get stitches. There you go. All right, Buddy Hepburn. There you go, buddy. Glad to get your feedback. Pitch count isn't a cure all. Yes, exactly. So you and your cousin, what were y'all doing again?
Oh,
Adding
we
your own
would.
commentary?
Yeah, like whenever someone has a mound visit, we'd just be sitting there, like, narrating what the pitching coach is saying.
Oh,
Just
that's
being like, "Hey, listen, you see how you gave up that home run? How about you try not
yes.
doing that?"
Yeah, exactly.
Or
You do all
he
kinds of
walks
crazy ass
he
stuff.
walks 2, 3 batters in a row. You're like, "Listen, hey, there's this new thing called a strike. You might want to throw it."
Yeah, there's a plate. You want the ball over that. Yes, exactly. So, and Buddy is a pitcher. He said pitching is 100% injury rate position. Just a matter of time for injury if you play long enough. Exactly.
Yeah, and
It truly
especially with
is.
how fast they throw that ball nowadays, uh, it's
Well,
crazy.
the other thing too, and I want to say this because I know Buddy was in the chat before during the early part of this Gator game. I wonder too if somehow some of this pitch clock stuff, the pitch clock and stuff is forcing some of this because these pitchers can't just step off. They're on a clock. They got to throw it at a certain point. Maybe are we rushing them too much? Could that be contributing to some of the injuries and the other stuff? Are our pitchers getting out of rhythm? Because like the Gators pitcher was out in that second inning was so out of sync, and then it just went crazy
Hmm.
after that.
That's one thing, definitely getting pitchers out of rhythm, and then you're throwing, because that was a big thing with one of the Cardinals pitchers last year. I have never pitched outside of, like, messing around and
Mm-hmm.
in backyards and such. But
Mm-hmm.
I never realized how much of a pit, like how much I don't know if habit or I guess mechanics is the right word of pitching. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what is it? Uh, sorry, I spaced it. Oh, like one of our pitchers, he got hit with a comeback pitch, hit him in the leg, and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
injure him like enough that he needed any surgery or anything, but it just left him bruised enough that he
Right.
like it threw off his step just a little bit. And that like for that last month of the season, he went from like a really good kind of number 2 pitcher to just kept getting beat up.
Yep. Yep. Buddy's disagreeing on the changeup. Don't throw lighter on a changeup versus a fastball. The grip takes velocity off the ball alone. Yeah, that was a quote from the Stanford coach. I think he's addressing right there is that, I think that's easy to trick. I think that's an easy thing to say. Either way, you still have the same arm motion, everything involved. And the whole thing with a changeup is you're supposed to throw it as hard as you throw a regular pitch, though. The grip on the ball is what causes the change in the speed. Because if you sit there and throw softer, then you're tipping off the whole point of the changeup. It's supposed to look
Well,
like any other pitch.
yeah, I'm not necessarily saying like changeup versus fastball. I'm
No,
just
no.
saying,
The article in the article
oh,
before, the Stanford coach specifically used changeups as a means for saying it was okay that he was not. It was not as tough on the arm because the pitcher was not throwing sliders and fastballs.
mm.
That's
I
that was the comment there.
I'm mostly just saying like 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have guys who were throwing 100 miles per hour. Now it
Mhm.
seems like every team has someone who's throwing at least one person. Cardinals have 2 people who routinely hit 100 miles per hour. I'm imagining kind of the overall uptick of velocity in the league as a whole probably has something to do with that.
Right.
I could be wrong. I am not a pitching expert. It just seems like you get a lot more, you get a lot more
Mm-hmm.
injuries lately and a lot more
Well, I tell
as
you what,
up.
that's why I love Buddy out there, because Buddy's a pitcher he knows, and he says the mechanics don't eliminate arm stress, but increase it from a velocity point of view. Improving mechanics equals improved velocity. Improved velocity equals higher arm stress. So there you go. You know it, and you have to uh, train yourself accordingly for that. So uh, just taking a look, looks like we got an E5 on the Gators there. So oh boy, it's going to be a long night.
Uh,
I think. Yep, 7-2, 2 outs in the top of the fourth. So hey, but let's look at the rest of the series a little bit so far. We'll get to so we can get into hockey a little bit, and then this is the debacle game. This is Snort Poop, as it said earlier about where the touchdowns. This game was 24-3 at one point, folks. 5 LSU errors in this game. I mean, 24-4. Well, Snort Poop, there wasn't a field goal for LSU, but 2 safeties. So we still have a football game here. And like you got a 6 spot in the third, a 5 spot in the sixth, and 5 in the ninth. So the Gators loved every third inning. So LSU had started with the 3-1 lead, and then it was 23 unanswered runs. So and a late meaningless home run by LSU. So
Did how many pitchers is? Oh dang!
yep, LSU threw 6 pitchers in this game. Starter
That's
lasted
rough.
2 1/3. Yep,
I was
exactly.
wondering if it. I was wondering if it was something to do with because most teams have this one guy who's uh you got your starters, you got your closers, your setup men, then middle reliever, long reliever, and usually have like 1 or 2 guys that you just say, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
this game is lost. Go out there,
Yep.
and you make them
I
pitch.
kind of I think there was like Dutton, Little and Dutton there. They
Yeah,
they
and it's
they're
kind of
like
just, hey, look, we've got to win tomorrow. uh, we'll send you out there, and you'll pretty much get shelled because we'll leave you
Yeah.
in too long.
Well, look, Dutton struck out the side, but oh gosh,
It's had a little
and
bit to go before then.
Buddy's like, oof, yeah. Those are some brutal numbers. Oh, is it 9-2? Yeah, my back's turned. Well, listen, guys, this is why I'm doing this show tonight because Dadman in his primal state would be like through the roof already, like the worst grumpy old bear you've ever seen. But you know what? Hey,
and
I'm here hanging out with you
what's
guys a little
his
bit, so
Snortopoopas has seen a lot of grumpy bears. So.
I'm sure he has. So, Jeremy, did I say hello? I don't know if I skipped over you. Buddy's 9-2 just got my attention, but glad you're here, Jeremy. Thanks for coming in. All right. Well, and this is one of the things I worried about last night. Florida ended up scoring 24 runs. I mean, they couldn't help it. I mean, in these type of games, here's the other thing: you don't pull your starters at the postseason. You got to be careful because if you pull them too soon, you lose momentum and you lose the game. But now, as we see, they scored 24 runs. The Gators' offense through three innings has only gotten 2 runs. Not necessarily bad output, but the bullpen is falling apart. They've already given up 9 runs.
That's the thing that always bothers me a lot with how the Cardinals have done stuff lately. Is they like to pull their starter quickly, and sometimes it makes sense. Starters getting. At some point, if a starter's getting shelled, you got to say, "Hey, you got to cut our losses." But sometimes, it seems like sometimes they pull the starter. It seems like our manager likes to do one of two things: either one, he pulls the starter at the first sign of any trouble, and then our bullpen is gassed. Because I think the biggest thing is it's not even just they're gassed to that day. So that next game when you really need a bullpen arm, well, everyone's tired. But the other option that he likes to do is wait 3 or 4 batters after everyone in the stadium knew that the pitcher was done for and didn't have it, need to be pulled, and then he's like, well, let's wait. It's like, okay.
Yep. At that point, the damage is done. Forget it.
Right.
Might as well let him finish the inning.
Not every, I'm an armchair manager. I was complaining about something that one of our managers did and recently, and it ended up working out. I'm like, oh, I stand corrected, but
oh, good.
There's a lot of times where there's the things where you don't have to be a genius to say, hey, this is a pretty bad idea. There was I could rant for days about it.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's get through this and we'll move on and we'll get to some hockey stuff. I'll probably end up early in going. Oh my gosh, look at these runs. Like it went from 1 to 2 to 3. Just looking at that 11, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19. Wow. So
as they say, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the biggest superstitions I have is that when you could use up all your offense on a good night.
Oh, yeah. And I understand that. I know it's like, it doesn't really count, but I know the Cardinals seem to do that a lot. It always is. I'm like, on one hand, it shouldn't matter. On the other hand, there's so many times where it's like, oh my gosh, we were doing so well. What happened?
Yep. Well, last night it was the Gators every third inning. Tonight it looks like every other inning for LSU. 6 in the second, 3 in the fourth. Again, this game still can change, but I also think that Skeens you'll see him at some point later because they're just they'll want to win with him. Even though he threw 120 pitches the other day, that's not a lot, and he could be in a 20-30 pitch reserve role to close. LSU's starting pitcher got jacked in the first inning, but outside of that, he's settled down. He shut the Gators down. There's been no more hits and 4 strikeouts overall. So he's settled down. And,
what's his name? Jack got. What's that? Jack is.
Jack Haglione. He's got 35 home runs. He started the game as a designated hitter.
Oh yeah, no, he's I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be like in the minors because this does happen a lot. Because we had Mason win. It's a Cardinals guy. Anyway, he, there's also differences. Like he's got a 3.68 ERA, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, nowadays, but still, the old days it wasn't. it was borderline.
No, I mean that's not bad. It's just mostly. I guess unless you're talking about like the dead ball era, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm talking about like
3.6, that's a solid.
1960s. Yeah, but
Yeah,
hey,
that's a solid, solid ERA. But it's also just that's not necessarily a top pros. When you're looking at the guys who get drafted in the first round, they got ERAs in the ones because that's why they're
yep.
big stars. But I don't know if whatever team picks them up, are they going to try and make him into the next Otani, or are they just going to convert him? Because I mean, as a pitcher, I guess as a
Oh,
hitter, he's been a lot better because
they're sending
he's
the
been
runner.
ridiculous.
Ah, crap! Bad relay throw, 10-2, LSU. Wow.
Oof.
Now I wonder if that was related to yesterday because normally I wouldn't have thought they would have sent the runner around third like that because a good throw should have had him out by a mile at the plate. But there was some question because Florida stole a base late in the game there, and kept running at times. And I wonder, this is going to get ugly though. LSU is not going to take off the gas pedal after yesterday's game. So
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I never say. I'm not 100% against running up the score, uh, unless it's like a sportsman. There's I feel like in junior sports, like I forget there was some 12-year-old team uh, running up the score on someone else. I'm like, that's just kind of mean,
yeah,
But for the most part, I think it doesn't matter too
yeah.
much. But I think there's always something to be said, and this is something
Wow. Well,
Miami, the U got into sometimes.
oh
It's
yeah.
dangerous to tick. If you
Most
tick your
of the
opponent off.
most of the rules that have been created of celebration and everything started because of the University of Miami.
Mhm.
So from the 80s and 90s. So,
No, it's
but
good, and I like the
yeah,
celebration. But I think there's a point in time where it's like, well, now you're just ticking the other team off, and then
yeah.
they're going to be extra motivated to kick your butt.
And it depends on what levels you are. Because I tell you what, the one thing we had in the basketball season, the youth basketball season that we had this year, because kids, it was an open church league. Kids played at different levels and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there officiating, and I'm like, there was one kid that was really. I'm trying to, he really needed help. He was. I'm trying to find how to say it, but the kid was out there, and they were trying to help him along. He was somebody that needed help, all the year. And if it was so loud, he'd get over shy, and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Well, I could see what was happening, and in the paint, everything's jammed up, and everybody's around. I could see that the team on his teammates are trying to get him the ball. The other people on their team are slapping it away, jacking it out, and he's getting frustrated because we're like near the end of the game. And I'm like, I just said, okay, I think I see. I said timeout. I called timeout. I called both coaches together. I was like, listen, are you trying to get this kid a basket? Yes, that's what we're trying to do. Because I told one of the kids on the other team had said, well, and I said they're trying to get him the ball to score. So after that, called both coaches together and just said, listen, because of what we're here for, look, have him get the basket, okay? And then the other team so happened had a girl that had not scored all year either, so they got her a basket. And
Mhm.
and for what we were doing in that situation, it was the spirit of the league. It's what we were
Yeah.
there for. And that's where sometimes you gotta, because at that point the players on the court were not thinking and realizing what was going on at that point. And coaches don't tell you what's going on because they just expect you to read their minds. And I'm just like, let's get both coaches, let's agree it. But what's so funny then? It's like all the players on both teams kept giving the same kids the ball every time for like 2 minutes. It was like they scored several baskets. It was like, but hey, it was good. But it's one of those moments where but like you said, in this major sports and stuff like that, it's crazy. So, um, and Jess, hey Jess, welcome in. Good to see you. Update
Hey.
summer event that starts with the fourth in the tweet. We'll be back on the fourth then. I guess we'll have a party spot pop up like floating stage last year. Well, we'll see what'll happen. We'll know at 4 o'clock in the morning. So hey, or that's the downtime, I think. But hey, all right. Well, still, welcome, Jess. buddy, I like Hurt's pitching position way more than the first three Gators. Nesbitt, fourth pitcher, is better so far. Yeah, you can read a lot from a pitcher by the body language, and I appreciate you being here, buddy, with your insights on this tonight, especially since you pitch and I'm just like Whoopa said, he's an armchair manager. I'm just a desk jock that used to play some ball, and it's like it's good to see. And okay, please stop that, ESPN. You've ruined the damn game. Quit interviewing coaches, managers during a friggin' game. Sorry, that was a dad man rant. I hate that. All the networks, leave the damn coach alone. I'd get fined because I'd tell him, go stick that camera up the flagpole or something. Because you know what? These coaches are busy coaching the game. All this is just screw the media. You talk to them before and after the game. Anyway, sorry. That was a free dad man rant. I think I needed a dad man rant tonight after that one. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are here to share this 10-2 suffering with me. But hey, it's not to be unexpected. Hey, Snortopoopas loves the rants. All right. You might get more. Who knows? So, and Yemi is laughing at me. Hey, Yemi, welcome in. Laughing. Well, yes, that's rant number one for the night. Yes. So, I hate...
We're going to get it eventually.
I hate them talking to the damn coaches during the freaking games. It's not the XFL. XFL was okay. It was kind of cool. It was different, but...
Yeah, see, I guess I don't know. I do like that in the XFL.
This is how bad this baseball game is, guys. We've gone off in a detailed tangent now, but go ahead.
I like it in the XFL. Sometimes you just get more real interviews, but also there was one, and I wasn't a huge fan of our coach, but I liked him in this moment, where they interviewed him. They asked him in the booth. They said, "Hey, you challenged this, and what do you think of this ruling?" And he said, "I don't know. It looked clear to us, but I guess that one guy is the guy who has the degree in officiating or whatever." And he was ticked off, And I enjoy those moments. I guess I want people to, my favorite moments are always when people go off on the media. What's this, the famous how does Yale out rebound Baylor? Okay, well, you see, the rebound is when you grab the ball and you come down with it, and they have more with them. Next question. It's just,
I know you love that one.
I always love that just because, there's some good things the media does. Yeah. The media asks a lot of dumb things, like, "Hey, you lost this game. Are you happy with your performance?" Obviously not. Like, what kind of question is that?
Yes, exactly. Or John McKay always said with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were like, how do you feel about your offense's execution? He's like, "I'm all for it," because they were so bad back then, Take the media and turn it back on them. So
that's what I like. Like, I like it's I think, sometimes it's a lot of things like, "Hey, we want to hear the media say, 'Hey, why did you do that? What was your thought process behind this?'" But there's so many times where it is just like, you guys struggled out there. How do you feel? How the hell do you think he feels?
I know, it's crazy. Question.
You think he's gonna be like, "Oh, I feel wonderful."
It's awesome. So, all right. Well, we are going to go ahead and move on a little bit because we kicked the College World Series around. We may not even come back to it tonight, but I tell you what, if you see anything, buddy, that happened, if there's anything we talked about that you would like to talk about, please throw it in. We will definitely talk about it tonight. But we're going to move on to a little bit of hockey before we end the show up a little bit, and probably let's see if we go about 30 more minutes and stuff, because I don't think this game's going to be anything like it was yesterday or Friday. Was it Saturday night? I did a chill stream and we kind of talked about the game and stuff as it was going on. It was a really good close game. So let me see real quick. Stunning said, "I'd call the media an asshole and walk off." Yep. That's a good thing to do. And then Snore Poopa says, "Well, Sparky, let me tell you, winning games is boring. I like to really screw up in game and laugh about afterwards over a couple dozen shots of whiskey." There you go. Make sure you have a good buddy with you taking those shots of whiskey, though.
My favorite thing, are you familiar? Here, this could be a transition. Do you know who Ilya Brizgalov is? Or was it? Yeah, Ilya Brizgalov.
No, but I not offhand. It something tells me I should know, but
Uh,
I don't
he's a
offhand.
goalie. He's uh sorry, he I was reading the chat. He was a goalie. He was really good for a while, kind of just came out of nowhere from Russia and started doing really well, and then kind of
Mhm.
fell off pretty quickly. But he made a lot of really funny interviews, and um he played oh, I don't know if you ever heard the thing where it says it's only game. Why you have to be mad? Because I
Oh
guess
God,
like someone on the other team was like yelling at him and mad, and
yeah,
he's like, "What's the
yeah,
big deal?" And there was a whole thing. There was a period of time where he was a backup,
right.
and they were always saying, "He's like, man, I love being the backup goalie." Everyone's like, "What? I don't understand. That doesn't make a lot of sense." It's like, "Well, look, I just get to sit on the bench. I get,
Make a
I got
ton of
my
money.
thermos. I just get to sit there and drink." He said, "Well, I didn't think he had like soup." He was saying, "It's like I got my
Yeah,
thermos full of soup. I can just eat on this on the bench, and I don't have to do anything." He says, and he doesn't because I guess if the goalie does bad, they pull the goalie and put him
yeah.
out there. It's like, so I can't lose the game, but maybe I could, if the guy does bad, I can come in and win the game. So it's all positives. It was funny because,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what's so awesome. You're absolutely right. Yeah, there's nothing bad. I mean, either you come in, the game's already over, or you come in and you're the hero,
yeah.
and you still get a hell of a paycheck too.
Oh, yeah. It was funny
That's the
because just
thing
because
is,
it
go
was,
ahead.
oh, it was just funny. You hear people talking about, man, I love being a backup.
Exactly. Carrying a clipboard in the NFL is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
As Jeremy says, hit that like button if you haven't. Folks, if you get 5 more subs, I'm going to do a 24-hour Fortnite stream. So
Woo.
bring your
Oh,
other
gosh.
friends and all
24-hour
that.
Fortnite
We'll have
stream.
to recruit you, get you trained up to join in at least for a few hours here or there
Yeah.
for it.
Let's
So,
do it.
yep. And there goes, I think that's that Paul Skeens. He's going down to the bullpen, folks. They're going to throw him tonight. I wouldn't blame him. National championship game, all in the line. You got a big lead now.
Yeah.
Don't leave it on the field. And we got 7 people here now. Hey, welcome everybody coming in. Thank you for it. We're going to transition a little bit of hockey. But last thing is Buddy Hepburn brought up that Fox was interviewing the Cards first baseman Paul Goldschmidt while he was
Hey.
recovering first live during the London game. I couldn't believe it, and I don't think he could either.
Yeah. I love Goldie. He's cool. The reigning
Yeah.
NL MVP.
Yep.
Uh,
And Buddy, you've got a great Cards fan here with you tonight, and a Whoopa Troopa.
yeah. We're doing pretty bad right now.
Hey, Cubs aren't much
We're
better, so you should be happy. So
what?
Cubs aren't doing much better than you are they?
That's
Some
true. We split the series in London. It's just gosh, it's frustrating. And there was this one guy online, he's a big Boston fan. He's like, "Oh, St. Louis fans, they just want to be mad for the sake of it." It's like, no, we're literally having one of the worst seasons we've ever had. Like, they were talking about all these things as oh, hey, this this is the worst record the Cardinals had in April since like 1973. That's the year my dad was born. Like,
Yep.
like we're not talking about a long time from just my point of view. It's like from my
Mm-hmm.
parents' point of view. It's like, holy crap. They're like, "Oh, you guys are just mad for the sake of it." No, we're mad because this team freaking sucks.
Exactly. You get
And
tired of it. Well, see, at
the
least it's from your standpoint, you've had a history of winning, though.
mm-hmm.
Imagine if you're like a fan of like the Jaguars that have had a history of losing and losing bad forever. You
Yeah,
know?
and that's the thing they were talking about. That's why I hate this guy. Uh, but there's like, yeah, look at what all these other teams lose all the time. You guys just lose one year, and it's like, yeah, because we don't tolerate losing. We don't.
Exactly.
Sorry, we're not okay with one with a really bad season, because especially when it's this bad, like
Yeah.
it's frustrating.
Well, at least you're not an
And
A's fan, so that
that's true.
poor A's fans.
And I was frustrated because everyone always says, "Well, we shouldn't overreact and we shouldn't freak out." Like, well, we're almost halfway through the season and we're in dead last in the NL
Yeah.
Central. Like,
When
at
do
some
you
point,
react? Yeah.
listen, I understand sometimes fans overreact. I'm prone to that,
Mm-hmm.
but at some point, when you're having a season that's you have to go back multiple decades to find a time that the team was that bad. You got to start looking at firing people. And the Cardinals, they haven't made a trade. They haven't made any sign. Oh, sorry, they traded for a AAA outfielder. Like, oh wow, that'll really do it. It's like, come on, you got to do something. At some point, hey, it's not working. Wake up. You tell the GM to wake up and do his damn job.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. Well, we have kicked this into the ground a little bit, and baseball. I didn't think I talked this much about baseball, but hey, it's been fun, and I do think LSU is going to go ahead and pull this off. Runners second, third, top of the fifth, 2 outs, already up 10-2. So, so we will keep an eye on it for what remaining time. If they don't pull it off,
that would be a pretty historic collapse.
Yeah, I would think so too.
But hey, you'd be pretty happy.
I would be thrilled, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to stay around from it for y'all. So, so after we get done, we cover what we have left. We have a little bit of hockey tonight. So, what did you bring us in the world of hockey? Because I think I might have something related to your hockey talk.
Yeah. Do I need to bring up the articles or?
Yeah, go ahead, bring the article up, and I'll share it. All right, put it up, and then I'll put it on screen.
Yeah, hold on a second. I got 2 little things that were pretty interesting. And they've been the talk of the town lately. A lot of trades that may or may not happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see. We've got. Oh, and Jess is coming in saying Chicago used to be sulking for a long. Oh, sucking along. And all for all the sports. Yeah. Yeah. You get occasional Bulls were good for a while when you had the dynasty, and then they got bad again. Then the Blackhawks win, then they get bad. Then the Cubs win a miracle, and then the White Sox. Yeah.
Hey, look on the bright side. At least you're not Cleveland.
Cleveland. I love when Joakim Noah went off on Cleveland that one time. That was always so much funny, and everybody was getting nuts about it. So,
yeah,
it was just always classic. So, and Snortopopus gives it for you, Jess. The Bears.
The Bears.
Yep. So, because you told me about some of these a couple of trades that have been going up, because I believe that the draft's coming up too. So, and Jess, Cubs and White Sox went like something about 100 years without winning at all. Yep. Well, the Cubs came close with the Bartman year, but so.
All righty.
Which was an interesting event. So, all right. Back when Wrigley Field was still Wrigley Field, before all the big neon Budweiser signs and all.
Haha! We took over. It's Busch Stadium after all. Take that. Oh, sorry.
There you go. Exactly. That's the way to do it. Here, listen to this. You'll love this, though. But Jess says, my uncle jokes that Cubs stands for completely useless by September.
Well, I'll make this joke, but it's not going to be true anymore because I don't see any way we make the postseason this year. But they always said, hey, what's the difference between a hot dog at Busch Stadium and a hot dog at Wrigley Field?
What?
You can buy a hot dog at Busch Stadium in October.
There you go. But
this year, I don't think it's going to happen.
That's okay. You've been there a lot more than the Cubs have. All right. So this is coming in before the draft. So
excuse me.
Blues Flyers trade. Tell us about this one.
Yeah. So this is, I've heard a lot about this on the local media because I am in St. Louis. I don't root for the Blues, but I am here. So I hear a lot about it. And there is a trade going on between the Blues and Flyers that seems to essentially be, well, here, I can read it. According to reports, Blues and Flyers found common ground on a pretty big trade. Athletic reported that the rebuilding Flyers were in the process of sending both forward Kevin Hayes and defenseman Travis Sanheim to St. Louis, with Philly eating a good chunk of Hayes' cap hit that exceeds $7 million. Same report indicated the Blues would send a first-round pick and a defenseman back to the Flyers. But but that D-man has invoked his no trade clause, and that's Torrey Krug. So I think this is a weird trade for the Blues. Travis Sanheim could be good. Kevin Hayes is coming off his best season in a long time, and he's on the wrong side of 30 and coming off a really good season. Not a really good season, his best season, and it was still he was a good second center. So if he regresses back to what he's done in the past 2-3 years, trading a first round pick for an expensive third liner doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
But regardless, the biggest thing is what is this? Sportsnet Elliot Freeman on Sunday confirmed Krug was in the deal, and he's leaning towards not waiving his no trade clause. So I brought this up from capfriendly.com, a handy dandy source. So he's making $6.5 million for the next 4 years, and right now he has a no trade clause, a full no trade clause. So if he gets traded, he has to agree to it. Right. And I guess he heard about going to Philly, and he said, "Yeah, I don't want to go." So as of now, unless he decides to end up waiving his deal, they're talking about mentioning the possibility of Flyers basically getting Krug and then trading him somewhere else. But that would be complicated, or they'll have to find another defenseman to send. It's a little crazy to think. I always think it's crazy. I always think it's weird because that this team doesn't. That Torrey Krug has a no trade clause, and you're just hey, we traded you. You don't think you'd ask him first that he's going to accept the trade, because it's going to ruin everything else. He's been a decent point scorer. He's not the best defensively, but so I don't know if this trade is going to happen. It was kind of a big deal, and they're like, "Hey, this is happening," and the next thing you know, they're like, "Hey, this might not happen." So that's one of the big trades.
I'm trying to bring up the standings because I don't know why my computer is being silly or slow, but I need to just.
Uh-oh. I was wondering, I'm like, Dadman got really quiet. And he's left. 7 years ago. Here, I can take over. This is the Whoopa show now. But let me read this from Jess. 7 years ago, I think postseason Cards vs. Cubs, and the PA guy in St. Louis played the Blackhawks goal sound of Chelsea Dagger. It was mocked. Yeah, that sounds about right. But if I recall correctly, that series, you guys got the best of us. So that was huge, because that was on our back end of our championship window, and the start of your guys' championship window. Well, I guess it ended up being the only thing in your championship window, but man, because it's been so long. Until that point, it had been so long since there was a Cardinals-Cubs playoff series, and that was wild. Yep, it's the Whoopa show. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? I can hang out here. Make sure to subscribe to Dadman Walking. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to leave a comment how that Whoopa guy is really cool, and you think that he should be on all the shows. You should tell Dadman to give that Whoopa guy a raise. He deserves it. Have fun, every human. It's time for the bear to put himself down for the night. Take over the show, Whoopa. All right. See you, Snorta Poopus. Oh.
Hey.
Empty icon.
Hello.
Aha.
Hello. Okay, missus, I'm okay now. And just in time to tell Snorta Poopus good night, sir. Wow. That's the danger. I tried to pull up a different web page on that same tab instead of opening a different browser tab, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that going forward.
Well, that'll get you.
At least with going to Control Delete to Task Manager kind of like got it out of whatever it is. But what I was asking was the Philadelphia. What were their standings? Because
Ooh,
usually, you know,
here I can look it up, but they sucked. I can tell you that.
all I know is my StreamYards though. What's weird? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear
My
me?
StreamYard chat has stopped though, so I'm gonna have to look over on the
I
YouTube.
was wondering, you have a
Yeah.
blank icon, not your usual banana.
Hmm.
The
Wow.
Flyers were second.
But see, on my screen, I see myself.
Hmm,
It's really weird. What
but the
if
Flyers last year, they were the third worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Okay. Well, a lot of times that will have an effect on whether people want to accept a trade or not. Most years,
Yeah,
I mean, back in the 90s, players would have loved to end up in Philadelphia with the great teams they had, Brenda Moore and oh God, what was I can see his face at not Montrose, Eric Lindros,
oh
other
yeah.
players like that. So, sort of poopus, I will say goodnight, sir. And Dadman belling according to Stunningham.
Mhm.
No, I would not leave Whoopa hanging like that. So, all right. So we've kicked this trade. What was the other trade that you wanted to talk about that's coming up?
Oh yes. So let me get rid of these. And this was a interesting thing from ESPN. Flyers are making this is another trade with the Flyers. Um, this time with Tony DeAngelo. So, and I think this is probably why uh, it's not just that they're rebuilding; they're going on a big rebuild. They're pretty much tearing everything down. So he probably is thinking, "I don't want to stay here for that." Uh, and
It's like teams
so
that did not, players that did not want to be in the NFL that did not want to be traded to Jacksonville, or many
mhm.
years ago traded to Tampa Bay and places like that.
So Tony DeAngelo, he used to be really a hot commodity. Got in some trouble, but they got the basically they traded. So Carolina signed him as a free agent for 1 year, and then they after that contract was up, he was still a restricted free agent. So the Hurricanes traded what it says they traded three draft picks for his rights and ended up signing him to a 2 year, $10 million contract. This is the second year of the deal. Um, and the new GM is aggressively reshaping the roster this offseason and had a deal in place to send DeAngelo back to the Hurricanes for a prospect, with Philadelphia retaining half the salary. But Rule 50.5 of the NHL collective bargaining agreement protects against the team trading a player, having another team pick up a percentage of the salary and then quickly reacquiring him at that
Hmm.
reduced cap spot. So, under no circumstances may a club reacquire, as part of a retained salary transaction, the contract of a player who was on that club's reserve list within the last calendar year. So, he was on there. He was a restricted free agent, traded away, and now 1 year later they're sending him back. I doubt it's a
Yep.
cap circumvention play, because Philadelphia made a lot of deals to try and compete and it failed,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm okay with. But a big thing. He's making $5 million a year. Carolina, as you know, have been good for a while and don't have a ton of cap space. So retaining the salary in his deal is a kind of a key thing here. So without that, the trade might not happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
So
you always have those concerns about fire sales or dumpster salary cap evasion and stuff like that. That's always
mhm.
something that pops in there, and they have these rules because it's always the biggest thing in baseball. And like I said, I've not been in Major League Baseball that much over the years, but I know when I was, it was really big about getting that trade at the trade deadline. You get a guy for 3 months, and then he's back in his former team the next year. It was like rent a
Oh
player
yeah,
for the playoff run, and it's kind of sucked at times too, like that.
yeah.
But
And there was a big thing about I think the Athletics did it a lot, where it's like, hey, we can get this guy on a 1 year deal, and like maybe as long as you offer that qualifying offer.
mhm.
So I know how the qualifying offers work and such is if you offer him a deal,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can offer that there's a minimum salary threshold you offer him, and then he can choose to accept it or not. If he accepts it, obviously he stays on the team. If he doesn't accept it, and someone else signs him, you get like an extra first round pick from that.
Mm-hmm.
So
The compensatory
it's
picks.
nice from that perspective.
Yep.
Um,
Well, one thing I thought this was going to be involving the Bruins, but those are interesting trades. It's interesting, like you said, that both with Philadelphia, who's in a fire sale right now. One trade I wanted to mention about was let's see, let me see. Well, at the risk, let me see if I don't think I will kill the computer this time. You there? Hello, you there?
Yep, I'm here. I was just
okay. Good. Okay. Well, I already had
something up.
I already had an existing tab open from this, so I just pulled it out of the screen, and are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to hit present. Well, I'm like, oh crap, this is going to suck if I can't present. I'm going to run out of the studio and come back in because I do need to try to present. So I'll try to be back, Whooper. Well, actually, I don't think I can. I don't know if I can leave the studio. You there?
You can just exit.
No, I can't. I literally cannot click on leave studio and leave.
You can close the tab probably. That might be what you have to do.
I will have. I will have to go all the way out and back into StreamYards. Okay, Whoopa, I'll do that. Are you okay with it?
Yep.
All right, everybody. Comrade Whoopa has the con for just a few moments. Uh-oh.
Oop. Hello. It's General Whoopa. That's who I'll go with. We can be General Whoopa. I have to edit the name. General McWhoopa. Bam. So I've taken over the stream again. The Blackhawks were getting the cups. Players took pay cuts to have that high chance of getting a cup. Yeah. It's a coup. Yes. Hello, Castle. What's up? Oh, I see a chat. Oh. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, especially on when you get those veterans. They've already, like you get those guys who used to be good now, kind of on the tail end of their careers. They've accomplished it all. They've got the trophies. They got the All-Star games, but they don't have the cup. A lot of teams will sign like a 1 or 2 year deal for really cheap just to try and chase that trophy. The last missing thing in their trophy cabinet. Excuse me. But definitely, once you get into a rebuilding team, some people just don't want to. You only have so long to play hockey. You don't want to waste it playing bad hockey, usually, unless you're a player who you're still trying to make it, I guess. Because usually, if you're still trying to make it, you'll play anywhere. Just, hey, give me a contract. But if you're kind of already a veteran and already established, you might as well make sure to go where you're actually going to get some good playing time. Or not good playing time, actually play for a winning team, have a chance.
Hey, does this work?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm back in. Sorry.
Ooh,
well, no it's weirdly bizarre what happens. This thing freezes up to the point that it's been, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe I've shut the computer down before and had other things, but this was like, I had to stop the missus from doing whatever she was doing. So, it's just like, I guess it just gets confused sometimes.
Just doesn't like you. That's what
I like what Castle said. It's a coup.
Yep. General McWhoopa.
Yep. There you go. Perfect time for that. So, well, anyway, let me let's see. There's one trade I was going to talk about real quick with this because
it's a hockey trade or a different trade.
Hockey trade involving a former New Jersey Devil. I did not realize he kind of bounced around the league, but Taylor Hall. Yeah, yep. Taylor Hall was the Hart Trophy winner in 2017-18 when he took the Devils to the playoffs. But he's now been involved in a trade from the Bruins to the Chicago Blackhawks. So the Hall and the rights to pending unrestricted free agent Nick Foligno were sent to Blackhawks on Monday for rights to defensemen Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula for pending restricted free agents. See, that's and it says it gives the Hawks a top line winger that can. Hold on one second.
All right. Yeah, I had seen that trade.
Yeah, it's really a big trade here, and I'm actually surprised somebody like Taylor Hall has been traded off of a third team. Why would you trade him from some team like the Bruins with their historic record, unless they feel like that they have salary cap issues and have enough talent without him? But it's just amazing seeing a player like him having left New Jersey for one thing, because I remember when he was drafted, it was a big deal, and then of
No,
course.
it was a weird thing because he was drafted. He had like a decent season with Edmonton at one point, but never really lived up to the hype. But
Right.
then he went to New Jersey and had that huge season where he won the Hart Trophy, and he tried to carry the Devils in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But then he signed that one. He had a kind of a down year. Well, first he got hurt, and then he came back, didn't have a great year, so he accepted like a 1-year deal in Buffalo for $8 million because he couldn't get that long-term deal, and he was banking on kind of having a resurgence, but it didn't really happen. He's been struggling lately. Well, I say struggling. He's not a bad player. It's just he's about he had 36 points in 61 games last year, which is not bad, but maybe a little much for $6 million. But we did have 8. He had 5 he had 5 goals in the playoffs and 3 assists, so that's a pretty good performance.
Well, the article goes on to say for the Bruins, moving on creates much needed cap space. Estimated the Bruins, the website cap friendly, had less than $5 million available in space according for the Bruins, while having 8 unrestricted and 2 restricted free agents. So, it's obviously somebody had to go, and obviously he was the one because clearing the contract and trading Foligno's rights means the Bruins have nearly $11 million in available cap space. So many things, especially ahead of the draft, are cap considerations. So,
a lot of that stuff is for cap or just to get an extra pick.
But see, like Jess says, Blackhawks. This happens with a lot of teams. A lot of players will take pay cuts to get that ring, especially when they get older towards retirement ages. So, and let me do say hi to Castle, since I didn't mean to ignore you. Wow, it'll just do it. I got to be careful sometimes multitasking too much on the old girl, but she's been good. But hey, it's interesting. But I think that's pretty much what we got there. I just found it as an interesting trade since we're talking some hockey tonight, and just I think it was really a kind of interesting to see that name again after so many years. So
yeah, it's from what I heard, so the Blackhawks have the first overall pick, and they're looking for. It's going to be Connor Bedard. He's pretty much going to be the first line center right away.
Right.
So they're trying to, I guess, get someone who can play on the line with them. Yep. Because they don't want to just throw them to the Wolves with no teammates. So they're trying to
got to have somebody. Can't get rid of the whole team. Well, you'd be the Oakland A's if you did that, but hey. Are the Cleveland Indians out of Major League? Yep. All right. Well, Whoopa, you got any other news stories you wanted to talk about, or
I think that's
anything
all
else
I have.
That's coming past? Yeah. Well, good. Some good hockey talk. We got about half an hour of hockey too. Unfortunately, folks, we've run out of news stories. I had hoped that this game would be a little bit better to keep it going, but yeah. There's a drive to center, but it's going to stay in the park at this time of night. So would they go to the 7th? LSU up 10-2. You got 3 more innings, but it's looking like you're going to have the LSU Tigers as national champions in baseball this year. So we'll see what happens. Well, Whoopa, like I told everybody else before, this will be the last Monday Night Sports Weekly show for a while. Because we're approaching football season too. But let me bring up a few things for everybody for programming notes as we start to wrap up here. Is one of the things that we will be doing is, and this is where I knew I was in trouble when I could not share my screen. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it even though I was back and talking, it was froze. But listen, folks, join me in July and the misses, not next week, because we will be returning from town next week. Next Tuesday is July 4th. Actually, I might go live on the 4th just for the hell of it. I don't know, but after that week, starting second week of July, the missus and I would continue with a special detour with the Dadmans, where we're going to take a look at our 16-day adventure, where we're going to actually on Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. We're actually going to look into more detail at certain legs of our trips. We talked about it in our preview video, our recap video at a higher level. Well, this one, if you want to see good pictures in the video, these are the ones that you're definitely going to want to be here for. So, folks, join us for that. Starting in July, it will go into August because we think we figured out we might have 11 different streams. So,
Holy
and
moly.
that's if we don't break it down further. So, because some of those trips could actually involve more breakdown of things. So, but with the rest of this month, um, let me see. July, folks, is promising to be very, very busy. I have a number of guests that should be coming out soon. I have at least, I already have like, I have at least 5 or 6 talk commitments and a special gaming Fortnite stream that's scheduled in July. You will not want to miss that when that announcement's made for that one. I am really super pumped. I like Fortnite already, but this is going to be a super duper doo special of Fortnite on this channel, and I hope
That
everybody can
probably
make
has
that.
something to do with gas stations.
Well, everything has to do with gas stations, but hey, but just teasing for next month. See, Friday the 7th. Friday the 7th. Let me see real quick.
Do you ever have a hard time holding back your your impulses in real life now? Like you see a gas station and you're like, no, don't hit it. Like
Yes,
it's not Fortnite anymore.
no. It's easy enough because I think of insurance and I think of jail, so that stops it pretty quickly. And Castle, death upon gas stations. Yeah, the whole trip, Martin with the C's like, you blow up into gas stations along the way. No, I'm like, no, please don't joke about that. That's like, I don't want people hunting me down if something happens. But Jess, no, I don't currently. I do not currently have anything planned on the 7th, but I'm still scheduling things out. Usually on the 7th Friday nights, I either do Dead by Daylight with Amanda if I feel like it, or over with Martin D with a suit for late night Fortnite. So, but nope. If you let me know later if you got a reason, if there's a reason to. Oh, stunning death to all gas station sympathizers as well. It's funny. We got an active chat now. So, hey, it's all
Yeah.
good there. So, but yeah, no, so I don't know, but July will be busy between those and some of the other shows that we got coming up. So look for those announcements. But tomorrow night, please join me for a special. I got to share the screen again, get it up here. I'm excited about tomorrow night. I really am, because this is going to be different. And we're going to have another one in July. You know, I've talked to various creators. I've talked to Arthur Raquel Briggs. We had Hungry Boy talking Trilogy of Terror with his illustrated background. Next month in July, I'm going to have Stunning and Brave, and we're going to talk Transformers on a chilling with.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
hold on. Before this is more priority. The 7th is Jess's birthday.
Woo.
Oh, do you have any plans, Jess? If you don't have plans, I will have a Friday night dedicated to your birthday, Jess. So
Oh, snap.
we'll have a Jess birthday party on our channel. If you're up
Woo.
for it, you just let me know and we'll make it happen, okay?
Epic.
As I look back at the calendar, just making absolutely sure I got nothing with the wife. So but we should be home on the 4th. So yeah, we should be good. Jess, Castle's in for do it.
Let's
Hey,
go. Just
you give
birthday
me
party.
you give me the permission, Jess. If you're all down for it, I don't want to embarrass you. Well, I've already probably passed embarrassing you now already. But if you'd like to do it, let me know and I will promote it. But yeah, because Jess is always here working a job and modding and doing everything else. It's just amazing for what you do. And I do love all my mods. I love them all. They're all great. And,
Yeah, you need to give us a race. We're going on strike.
well, look, I trusted you to take over my channel for 20 minutes.
That's true. You're lucky
I
I gave
actually,
it back. I could have taken over.
oh my gosh, listen to the real unfiltered Whoopa. Wow. Love that general. I do love that general. Yeah, there ain't no
General
way I'm going to be able to finish this game tonight. The LSU's got 2 men on, up 10-2 in the 7th inning. Yeah,
That does not sound good.
Yeah.
That sounds less than ideal, as they say.
Okay, Jess says, I think that's my mom's Friday night, so we'll go out to supper if it is. If not, I'm totally free. Jess, let me know what your plans are as soon as you know. If it works out, we will make it a birthday party for you, depending on what time it needs to be, okay? Even if it's just a couple hours, you let me know and we will work towards it. We'll even drag Castle in since he's encouraging it too. Maybe even Whoopa will come out of. You do have Fortnite on your game though. Yeah. Well,
Huh?
I thought you did. I thought you downloaded it.
Oh, yeah.
Fortnite.
I just had to figure it out because I've got it on my Switch and on my Xbox, but my Switch is it doesn't work with voice chat, and my Xbox, I don't have a microphone. I used to have one.
Now, see, people keep saying that, but with the Switch. But I can use voice chat with the Switch with a headphone because you put the headphones into the jack switch on the unit itself.
Maybe, but I don't have any corded headphones. That's the thing. I only have wireless and other wireless.
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha.
My grandpa only has wireless too, so it's like
all right.
Everything I have is.
We might have to take a GoFundMe up for Whoopa to get plug-in headphones. So, but yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that those would be cheap. I could probably afford them. It's just I never use them.
Well, hey, we'll give you a reason to use them. We got 8 people hanging out with us now after we talked about Jess's birthday and everything else. So that's
everyone
cool.
is excited about the birthday.
Exactly. And Stunning says he'll bring the virtual cake or just some cheesecake art. Either way. So, all right. Well, speaking of art, we went into that. We talked about Jess's birthday. Let's see here. I didn't put something here. Says Switch, you need compatible cord headphones to VC in game. Now you can use wireless for sound only. Okay, because see what I did, I bought the specific. But see, I've played with both the Nintendo headphones that you plug in, and I've also played with my regular generic headphones plugged in. So I'm not sure what's going on with people having
maybe
issues
it's a
with
Bluetooth thing because the Bluetooth I just remember because I'm like, oh, it's not working, and I went into settings and it was like can't use voice chat with these. I'm like, well, shoot, that's the only reason I would use them. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's stuff out there. We can always figure it out how to work. And Castle now is loving the cheesecake, so hey. But hey, let me say, teasing again tomorrow night's show, we got artist extraordinaire, and I tell you, this is a classy lady, very classy lady that I'm looking forward to spending some time talking to her. I've been on a panel with her before a time or two, but the great Mads Mama Bear, or her channel's now Mama Bear Art Doll. So hey, go check us out tomorrow night. Definitely, it should be a blast. We'll see where our chilling goes, and we'll have a good time with Mads tomorrow night. So Jess says, yeah, Bluetooth is for hearing only, not microphone. And
that's stupid. Why would they do that?
Yeah, and unaware of art lingo, cheesecake art means okay, Charles. Well, I wouldn't expect anything else. I wouldn't expect anything else from you, Stunning. So, but yes. And yeah, the beefcake. Oh, that's interesting. I think we just learned something tonight. Cool. All righty. So that's very, very interesting to find out tonight. But hey, definitely join us tomorrow night with Mads. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to this, spending some time with Mads. Great lady. Come hang out with us, talk. We'll see where our conversation goes. So join us tomorrow night. And on Wednesday night, hold on a second. I'll see this. Hearing is a recent development. It didn't start that way for Switch. Okay. Yeah, all I know is I can play speak and hear on my Switch with a regular headphone and with the Nintendo specific headphones. So I don't know why you can't. I don't know what the deals are, and they're stunning, Mama. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So she's going to be great tomorrow night. Then on Wednesday night, be here, folks. Especially if you haven't in a while. But listen, we're not doing a movie this week because life has just gotten busy and stuff. But it's a great Daisy Blossom coming on Wednesday night. We're just going to hang out, talk, and chill. And I ask you personally if y'all could make plans to be here for this one. Uh, just as friends hanging out here, chatting and having a good time. I just hope that y'all can make this one on Wednesday night and join us as we talk about who knows what we will ever talk about and come up. So. Absolutely. But yes, definitely a great classy lady. So a great time that we will have on Wednesday night. So, and then of course, cheesecake. That sounds like a win-win in terminology then. So Castle's got the cheesecake. All righty. So I think that is about all that I have. Yep. So like we say, catch our live streams and videos on YouTube and twitch.tv at DadmanWalking55. Catch us on Twitter at DadmanWalking55. So whenever you do see that I go live on Spur of the Moment or anything else, especially with gaming streams, July 4th may be when I may decide to stream that night. I don't know. Depends on what time we get back and things like that. So we'll see after Thursday, Friday this week. Actually, no. Thursday, Friday, I may do something, but Saturday through Tuesday, Saturday through Monday, I will be not streaming. So, keep it all there. And like Jess put, follow us on Twitter. Let's see. Jess said, I tried a while ago with a basic ear plug-in headphones that you get for like $5. That could be why it didn't work. I actually take my headset that I play with Fortnite with the jack in it, and I plug it into the top of the Switch, and I'm able to hear the Switch. Now, I'm using the Switch in the docking station too, plugged in via an HDMI cable into a television. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I just know that it happens. So, but I know there's smarter people than me with that stuff. So, but okay, but that's all that. Look for soon. Hopefully we'll have the July's calendar ready for y'all to see on Wednesday night. If not, tomorrow night. But listen, folks, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for everything you do. Whoopa, thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming in.
Can I do a shout out real quick?
Yes, you can. And where were my manners, sir? Yes, please shout yourself and your channel out. Please. I am so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm Whoopa Troopa. So yeah, youtube.com/Whoopa I just released a video, so I might be a little busy. My aunt today texted me and said, "Hey, I got a party going on for my your cousin tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks for the heads up."
Boy, yeah.
But so I won't be able to do that, and then next weekend I'm going on vacation, so I won't be here either. But I do have a new video up about the most recent Nintendo Direct, talking about what my thoughts on it, adding in some jokes here and there. If you ask me, I'm pretty funny, so you should go watch it.
I agree.
And yeah, so that's pretty much what I've got going on right now. Not many streams, but I got a new video, so go check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it. He's got great stuff. He does good work, and you're funnier than that Gator fan I just saw with a hat on it. It was like a big Gator head on top of his head. So yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. To end the show, LSU's bases loaded, 2 outs. So, folks, let's stick a fork in that one. Done. If it comes back, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. But stick a fork in it. This done. Rallying from that kind of deficit, scoring that many runs in 2 nights in a row is just next to impossible. But the joys of baseball, Whoopa, don't you love them?
Hey, I feel you. We had last year, we had our high hopes, and they ended with us. Well, first, our manager was an idiot. That's how they ended.
Yep.
But also, we had a chance to get out of it, save a run, or you know,
Yep.
we had a chance to pretty much get an ending double play,
Mm-hmm.
and our Gold Glove second baseman made an error. And it's
That's
like you
usually
got to
what
be kidding
happens.
me.
Yeah, when that happens, you're toast.
Yeah, it's like come on. This is a guy who was pretty much all year one of the most valuable defenders, and that's when he decides to mess up.
Yep. There's
It
certain
happens to everyone, but it
that's
was
the
frustrating, man.
that's the thing with baseball specifically. It's very it is a very superstitious sport. Like watching your don't step on the baselines. Uh, washing your underwear, that type of stuff. All kind of weird traditions and superstitions with it.
Mhm.
You score too many runs, and uh, you know, it's just one of those weird, really, really weird sports for superstitions. So, but
It's
hey,
fun. Mine's usually basketball. I know it's not. That's just mostly to do with me.
yep,
I I had two. I'm sure I already told you that story of. Uh, I left a game and we started winning, and then I started watching on TV and we started losing again. I'm like, I can't watch this team play basketball anymore. I'm cursing my own team. But
I
that's just
know,
how it goes.
I got you. Well, it's like me trying to make a big deal with the Gators tonight, and they just walked another run in.
Oh gosh,
It's like
that's the
so,
worst. It's like
yeah. At least make
you
them hit
know,
the damn ball. Put the ball in
right.
play.
Especially when it's the base is loaded. Like, what's the worst case scenario? He's gonna get a home run. Well,
Yeah.
if you I mean, like,
This
that's bad, but that's probably not going to happen. What's likely going to happen is if you throw a pitch, he's going to get a single or a double, and he's get a single and score a run, and well, it's the same as if you threw a ball.
yeah,
But I guess a lot
exactly.
of times it's not. You know, I complain, but I think most of the time it's not that they're trying to. It's just you know I
Yep.
couldn't do it, but it does bother me when you pitch around where the bases are loaded. It's like you gotta throw a strike. Don't give him a free one.
It does. It does bother the crap out of me, that you have that. But hey, it's okay. Just go at them. You're already like, especially the Gators case. You're already like almost 10 runs down. Just go at them.
Yeah,
Just
that's
don't
true,
around.
especially in this scenario. In some scenarios, you can see where the pressure's on. In this case, it's like, hey, look, you probably already lost the game. You might as well at least,
Oh
if you
no.
get someone out here, you might do something. If you pitch around them, well, then you're
Oh no.
not
Oh
doing
no.
anything
Look
well.
at this. Jess
Uh
said she found a Fortnite creative mode I found called KFC Chicken Killer. You run around killing chickens. They made a building that looks like a KFC.
oh.
Wow, I've got to keep that on lid. I know somebody that would
Finger
love
looking
that. So,
good.
but hey, all right. Well, thank you for that notice. And folks, after all those goodbyes, make sure you check Whoopa Trooper out at the link I put out in the chat. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Get us 5 more. Let's get to 300, and maybe even before we leave town. And look forward to a 24-hour Fortnite stream real soon. So,
Ooh.
by the August 19th, which is our anniversary. So hopefully we do it. All right, Whoopa, you have a good evening.
Alrighty.
Chat, you have a good evening. And bye, everyone.
Bye.